There's been an abundance of evidence collected that is being processed. This is part of what takes time. This is part of the integrity of the case. This is an isolated incident.
Stuart, tragically, 2 of those teenagers found last week were already dead when they were found, but the very first teenager that was found, the 16-year-old girl, had been rushed to the hospital and was listed in extremely critical condition, but the Marion County Sheriff confirmed this afternoon that she has now passed, and he pledged that there would be justice for these victims.
They are going to find them.
Mary?
Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Grizzly. Today we continue to look at this case out of Florida that we looked at last week, where 3 teens were found dead in different locations, 3 different locations. And it seemed like at first people were like, is this a serial killer? Then the sheriff, snarky sheriff who we love, said, no, it's not that. It's an isolated incident. And so we did some map time. If you haven't seen part 1, please check it out. It is in the description box for you. But today we're going to do an update on that as well as look at the new press conference. Okay. Thank you so much, Stefan. You like the intro? Awesome. Okay. So let's have a look at this. Just this will catch us up a little bit as well as give us some updates on this case. Thank you all for being here. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, please, and share it. You can share it, hashtag Grizzly True Crime, so everyone knows where to find this update, and maybe also Florida teens or Florida or something like that. Okay, I hope you guys can all hear me okay. Let me know if you can. And let's go with this. So they say a 12-year-old and a 17-year-old have been arrested and charged in a shooting last week in Marion County that left 3 teenagers dead. So, wow. Juveniles were responsible. 3 juveniles are responsible for killing these 3 teens. There was 2 16-year-old girls and one 17-year-old boy. And what a senseless crime this is. It's absolutely terrible. Yes, you guys all like the sheriff. Me too. That's why we're doing this live. We love the sheriff, right? I want to see this press conference with you. So yeah, one of them was 12. One of the suspects, they've arrested 2 out of 3. Okay, one is 12 years old and another 17. Okay, have been arrested and charged in a shooting last week in Marion County that left 3 teenagers dead. Deputies are still looking for a 16-year-old in connection with the case. So the hunt for that 16-year-old is still on. Investigators found the 3 victims throughout the Ocklawaha area just outside of Ocala within days of each other, but said that the 3 victims were shot at the same time. We all had those questions when the first press conference was available for us to watch together. We were like, wait, were they all shot at the same time or was it different days? Because they were found on different days. So the first victim, identified as Layla Silvernail, 16, was lying injured on the side of the road on March 30th. And she later died at a hospital. A 17-year-old boy was found dead of an apparent gunshot wound on March 31st, lying on the side of the road not far from the first scene. And then a 16-year-old girl recently identified by family because they applied Marcy's law, which meant that they didn't want their names to be out there. So the 17-year-old boy is not yet identified based on Marcy's law. The family is applying that. But now they're identifying this other 16-year-old girl, Camilla Carls, I hope I'm saying that right, was found shot to death on April 1st in the trunk. See, we don't know that either. There's lots of details here. In the trunk of a sedan, partially submerged in a pond. The car that Carls was found in was a Chevy Cruze that belonged to Silvernail, investigators said. Okay, so quickly, in order to understand all of this, let's just do some map time so that we can make sure we understand. Okay, so we find ourselves here on the map in Florida. I do love Florida. We said that last time as well. So if we just zoom out like this, Florida. Okay, here's Orlando, Florida. And so we are kind of up here further north than Orlando, way further north than where Brian Laundrie lived. Okay, so we're here. Wait, we're zooming in. We're zooming in. All in Marion County. So on March 30th, a 16-year-old girl was found next to a dumpster on the southeast 183rd Avenue Road. Apparently, this is a very small community. The population is also very small. If you live there, let me know if you are there. I know there's lots of locals that were in the chat last time as well. Yes, Ted Green says 12, basically fresh out of the dang womb. I know, right? Okay, so a 16-year-old identified as Layla Silvernail was found with a gunshot wound to the head here next to a dumpster. She was taken to the hospital and she was put on life support, but unfortunately, she died. Her family donated her organs. A 17-year-old boy was then found the next day, March 31st, on Southeast 188th Court and Southeast 94th Street, around this area. Lying on the side of the road, he had died from a gunshot wound as well. So just put there on the side of the road. And then the third victim was found further south. So that's what made it like, wait, what? When we did the map time, we're like, whoa, all of them within a 10-mile radius, all three teens, all in different locations. And the sheriff described it as a hybrid gang. So the third victim was found near this Maluka Loop and Maluka Loop trace, submerged, well, in the trunk of a car that we now know. The car was partially submerged. So I'm not exactly sure where, in which body of water here. I feel like it's this one based on maps I've seen. But, or actually it could be here, because here's Maluka Loop. Yeah. Well, one of these. The car was partially submerged, and the car belonged to victim number 1, Layla Silvernail. Okay? So I hope that the map has helped with that. So let's quickly go back to this. Then we're going to watch the press conference together. All right. So Sheriff Billy Woods, okay, held a news conference on Friday saying the deadly shootings were a result of gang-affiliated juveniles turning on their own, and attributed the killings in part to failures of society. We do not hold our juveniles accountable. We minimize their actions, and I can't wait to hear that with you. As he says that, it was very powerful. School districts across the state and across this nation need to quit minimizing the actions of their students. Hold them accountable. That's where the failure is. Deputies said that a tip led them to the Chevy Cruze that belonged to Silvernail, which carried 6 individuals at the time of the shooting, the 3 victims and the 3 suspects. 2 of the suspects were identified as Robert Robinson, 17, Christopher Atkins, 12, oh my word, who both faced first-degree murder, armed robbery, and other charges. Robinson was arrested the morning after the murder, already in custody at a juvenile holding facility, and Atkins was arrested Thursday at his house via a search warrant, according to the sheriff's office. A third boy is still at large, Taj Bruton, 16, and should be considered armed and dangerous, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said in a Facebook post. Up to a $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of Bruton, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said in a post on its Facebook page. The United States Marshal Service has offered up to $5,000, and the Florida Sheriff's Association Criminal Apprehension Assistance Program has also offered a $5,000 reward. So they shared his photo. So if you see this guy, he's considered armed and dangerous, 16 years old. You need to call the police, because they want to catch this guy, okay? In addition to being wanted in connection with the triple homicide, Bruton is wanted for several felony offenses, including carjacking with a firearm, aggravated assault, grand theft of a motor vehicle, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, and tampering with an electronic monitoring device. Investigators said those other crimes are not connected to the triple homicide. I'm talking to the viewers. Some of you know him, Bruton. You know where he is, and you need to turn him in. Now, I will get him. I will find him, and justice will be completed. We're going to watch him say that together in the press conference right after this. WKMG reported that according to Woods, Robinson and Atkins both allegedly confessed to shooting the girl who was found in the trunk. They took a life. Are y'all comprehending that? Woods said. They took a life without thought. They deserved the full extent of the law. WKMG caught up with Woods at Governor Ron DeSantis' nearby news conference to ask for more specifics regarding Atkins's involvement. His involvement, definitely, as far as I could tell you, is that he shot the third victim who was in the trunk of the car, Woods said. Now, they say, note, News 4Jax does not always name and show mugshots of children charged with felonies, but we have chosen to name Atkins and show his photo because of the severity of the charges, the circumstances, and investigators saying he admitted to one of the shootings. Woods said the group had engaged in burglaries and robberies before the shooting. Although we had out there that it was gang-related, we have nothing specific to say that it was any rivalry, Woods said. However, each and every one of them in some shape or form is associated with a gang. Basically, simple terms, there's no honor among thieves, and at some point, these three individuals turned on our three victims and murdered them. Detectives said they used phone records like text messages and pictures on the victims' iPhones and tips from the community to link the suspected killers with the shooting. When asked how the miners obtained the weapons used in the shooting, Woods said that the two arrested had acquired theirs through car burglaries. Other details, such as the exact number of weapons used in the shooting and the outlook of where Bruton may be located, could not be shared on Friday, given that the third suspect was still on the run, according to Woods. Woods credited the FBI, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the U.S. Marshals, and Orlando Police for help in the case. If you have information on Bruton's location, call 352-732-9111, or if you wish to remain anonymous, you can contact Crime Stoppers of Marion County at 352-368-STOP, that's 7867, and reference 23-22 or 2322 in your tip. All right, so we're going to watch the press conference together. I just want to show you this picture one more time. This is who they're looking for. So they've caught 2 out of 3 juveniles that are responsible for murdering 3 other teens. 2 16-year-old girls and 1 17-year-old boy were murdered by 3 juveniles. One was only 12 years old. Oh, my word. And this one is the one that's 16 that they are still looking for. They've caught the other 2, and they've been charged. So what did we learn? We learned that that third victim was found in the trunk of the car. Remember, at the first press conference, they couldn't tell us exactly where. And we also learned that one of the 3 victims, we knew about Layla Silvernail. The other 2 were not identified based on Marcy's law. Now they've identified the other female, Camille Carls. All right. So now let's get that press conference ready. And we will be boosting it. Just hold on one second. Put on that Grizzly boost. Off we go. Oh, I made the wrong screen. Wait, this one. There we go. Okay, are we ready to watch this together? Objection Cake says, so much to unpack here. Great coverage as always, G. Thank you so much. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. Right? Thank you, Rob. If you guys didn't see the previous video that I did just before this live stream, an update on Naomi Irion's case, please go check that out. It was such a great interview with her mom. And we learned a lot about how to deal with grief and safety tips and all sorts of stuff. So go check that out. Van says, Grizzly Boost. Grizzly Boost is on. Okay, let's play this.
First of all, I appreciate everybody being here. We're here for two reasons. Because of a very extremely tragic incident that has occurred. But on the other side of the coin, a conclusion to that tragedy. As all of you are well aware, last Thursday, March 30th, we received a call near Forest Lakes Park, where our first victim, Layla Silvernail, was located suffering from a gunshot wound. She would later succumb to her injuries. The following morning, we responded to a location about a half a mile away and located a second victim deceased on the side of the road from an apparent gunshot wound. Then on Saturday, April 1st, my deputies located Layla's car abandoned and partially submerged in a pond about 9 miles from the location where she was found. My investigators located the third victim inside of the car. And I'll go ahead and tell you because you've been asking me.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt here and there. Okay, that's what you're here for, is the commentary. I already posted this on my community tab 2 days ago. If you want to watch it without me interrupting, then go check it out there, okay? I just want to, someone said something here that, oh, yeah. Engineer's like, what's up with the eyebrows, dude? We love the eyebrows, right? It's like snarky brows, like, oh, my cap's covering it. It's just snarky brows. We love the sheriff, oh my word, right?
For specific details. She was located in the trunk. Now, I want to clear up before we get into those details. Based on the interviews, digital evidence from her phone, she was there of her own free will. Now, I'm going to start off by thanking all of the entities. If there's ever a true example of law enforcement, communities coming together, and a almost perfect collaboration to come to a conclusion in a week on a triple homicide is truly amazing. Those entities include the FBI, FDLE, U.S. Marshal's Office, and in my opinion, probably the best state attorney in the state of Florida for the
Oh man, just love the sheriff. Zoe says, "What was the motive so horrible?" They say it seems to be like robbery gone wrong, but I don't know, man. Let's see if we find out even more here, right? I'm watching this for the second time with you guys. If you haven't seen this before, welcome. And if you haven't seen part 1 of this case, it's in the description box, and then there's a full deep dive timeline. We did map time there as well and everything. So go check that out if you didn't, okay? Stay for now. Check it out afterwards if you're like, wait, what? Sheriff Snarky Max Snarkerson. Yes, Van.
5th Judicial Circuit, Bill Gladson's assistant state attorneys. OPD, my deputies, detectives, forensic professionals, and our citizens who are truly amazing. Now, this one's going to come a shock to you. That includes you, the media. You helped us of getting information. My emotions right now are all over the place.
I was like, this is going to come as a shock to all of you, the media. You helped us. It's a shock because most police forces don't say that, right? They don't say the media helped us a lot. They're just like, no, just leave us alone. Stupid YouTubers.
Because I am so proud of my guys and girls. I didn't do a damn thing, but they stepped up to the plate.
Isn't that cool too? When he's like, I didn't do a damn thing, but they stepped up to the plate. You know, normally you'll see kind of the sheriff being like, me, I did it type thing, right? I know he's like congratulating everyone. We're used to that in all these press conferences as part of the job. But here he's like, I didn't do a damn thing, but they stepped up to the plate. Love it.
And yes, you put information out there, and I'll admit this, you wore my ass out of interviews, you hounded me, but don't ever think I didn't use you as well to get the information I needed.
I'm sorry, all the commentary. You wore my ass out. Forget this. I love the sheriff. You wore my ass out, hounding me for interviews. Don't think I didn't use you as well to get the information out.
Now, the investigators were able to determine that this group of juveniles were involved in committing burglaries and robberies, which they referred to as a lick. Now, although we had out there that was gang related, we have nothing specific to say that it was any rivalry or anything to such that cause. But however, each and every one of them in some shape or form is associated with a gang. Basically, simple terms, there is no honor among thieves. And at some point, these three individuals turned on our three victims and murdered them. Two of them right there. They fled the scenes, but left a lot of evidence in their wake. Through the cooperation of the agencies that I previously mentioned and my office, we were able to begin compiling all of the evidence and finding these killers. Now, we were shocked and saddened by the violence, as all of my citizens, because we are shocked not only are the victims juveniles, but the murderers are juveniles as well. I know each of you in the media here and viewers out there probably heard us in law enforcement or even in community events talk about what is the problem. And I'm going to go ahead and address the first thing that I know it's going to come up, because there are individuals.
Stand by. Headstones and headlines says, I want to know why they aren't releasing the male victim's name. Initially, they only released one of the three. It's because of Marcy's law that can apply. The families can apply that law, and it grants protective rights to an alleged victim of a crime and revokes certain rights of people accused of a crime to defend themselves. Basically, we did in part 1 of covering this case. Go check it out. It's in the description box. A full segment on what Marcy's law is. We went over everything, so go check that out.
Who's out there viewing, and include some of you media, that want to blame the one thing that has no ability or the capacity to commit the crime itself. And that's the gun. These individuals committed the crime. And what's the solution? I wish I could give you that answer, because this world would be a whole lot better. But the fact is, society fails it. We do not hold our juveniles accountable. We minimize their actions. And let me tell you why I say this. Last night, I had to stare into the eyes of two mothers. It's not their fault. Because what I saw last night was two mothers who are willing to give their sons everything, do everything for them, and give them their own lives. But just like you and I, no matter how much we teach them, because I am a father, I am a father, and I cannot fathom what they were going through. These mothers and mothers across this nation need all of your help. Because here's what infuriates me. I've got a particular media who has a problem with putting photos of juveniles out.
But he put it out, as you said. Is it Lockdown with April C that said it, right? In Florida, they don't play around. They're going to put those pictures out there, especially because the one guy they're still looking for is only he's 16 years old, but he's considered armed and dangerous. And they're putting his picture out to let the community know and make sure that they can catch him as soon as possible.
Now, we do it what the law says we can do. Put these photos out. I put myself in the shoes of those mothers because I heard one of them say it. I wish I would have known what this one was doing and who they were, because my kid never would have hung out with them. And to think and believe to minimize any actions that is criminal of a juvenile is a disservice, and frankly, stupid to think.
And frankly, stupid to think. As Pernil said in our last stream, we might have to remake our little members-only snarky intro to include some clips from this guy, right?
We need to hold them accountable. And then hope that we can change them. I'm not going to be able to give you everything because there is a third suspect that we were unable to locate last night. But however, you will receive, you may already have it, the probable cause affidavit that tells you the details of the events that occurred. I will tell you this. I already told you of the witness hearing the gunshots. That is when all three were killed. The suspects were in the vehicle. This individual, who is a juvenile also, is who we're looking for. Now, I'm talking to the viewers. Some of you know him, you know where he is, and you need to turn him in. Now, I will get him. I will find him, and justice will be completed.
He says, I will get him. I will find him, and justice will be completed.
As you can imagine, my thoughts are all over this page right now. Fighting these crimes, these type of crimes, requires all of us to come together as a community. And Marion County stepped up to the plate. And we've been successful. Now, I know I've forgotten something and I'm missing something, so I'm going to open up the floor to questions.
Any type of motive given?
Mentioned it, robbery.
See, that's what they say. Motive, robbery. That's it. Like, oh my word. What a senseless crime. 3 teens dead, 2 in jail, 1 still on the run. He will find him. 6 lives destroyed.
Sheriff Woods,
Go to her first.
I want to clarify. I know you said the suspects were in the vehicle. So are you saying all 6 were in there at one time?
Yes, ma'am.
And so the 3 individuals, the 2 that are in custody, and this person, they turned on the other 3 in the vehicle, and that's how this unfolded.
That's correct.
In the commission of a robbery of the 3 victims?
Not going to get into too many more of those details because of the third suspect being out.
Sheriff Woods, Ted Williams with Fox News. Did the suspects and the 3 dead teens, have you been able to determine how long they've known each other?
Not entirely short time. Short time?
They're not too sure how long they all knew each other, but they say maybe just a short time or so. Headstones and headlines says many lives destroyed. As I said, 6 lives destroyed. I realize it's true. It's many lives destroyed. I mean, all of their families and friends. I mean, the community. Yes, absolutely.
Sheriff, you mentioned the gun. Do we know how the suspect got a hold of the weapon?
Car burglaries. Yeah. Ain't that right?
Snarky sheriff is at it. He just hears a and he's like, yeah, yep.
All the gun laws we got in place didn't prevent it, did it? Neither will any new ones. Because here's the fact. The bad guy is going to get a gun no matter what law you have put in place. These juveniles shouldn't even possess a handgun. But they did. And I'll go back to you, add your question. A simple burglary, as some people will say, but I don't consider anything simple when it comes to a burglary. The law allows me, I'll plaster their face up on this page, up on my page, up on media. I will hand it out if the law allows me, because parents have the right to know who their kids are hanging out with and preventing this.
What did the suspect's parents say when you spoke with them about their arrest?
I personally didn't speak to them about the arrest. It was immediately after the interviews in which I talked to the mothers. But really, they don't have a whole lot to say. If you're a parent, put yourself in their shoes. Holy hell. Panic. I'm scared to death as a parent. Embarrassed. Ashamed. What do you think they're going to say?
Sheriff Woods, do you know if these three juveniles will be tried as adults?
All right, state attorney's office is reviewing that right now. Okay, so I don't want to say yes and then it turn around no, then you'll end up calling me a liar at some point. So
New York Giant says need to find out how these kids got these guns. They got them from robbing cars. So people must have left their guns in cars and they burgled cars. That's how they got hold of them.
What does to kind of piggyback off that, so what does accountability look like for you? I know you talked about juveniles being held accountable for their actions.
Look, I get the argument.
I will refrain an awful lot on that answer to this question, to the full extent of the law. Okay, don't take me wrong. I might be hard on people, but I also have a heart. And I've already told you, I am a father. But here's the one thing my boys know. Growing up, the freaking barber had my permission to whip their asses. And not only that,
the freaking barber had my permission to whoop their asses. Damn.
when this stuff came up on TV, I pointed them. I said, you don't have to worry about the law coming after you. Full extent. Because they took a life. Are y'all comprehending that? They took a life without thought. They deserved the full extent of the law.
Had you come in contact with these teams before? Because I see the pictures. Are these mugshots from previous incidents?
I personally haven't, but have we? Minimum contact. I can tell you right now. I know somebody over here had a question.
Sure.
Andy?
Do I understand correctly that the three victims were an active part of crimes prior to their deaths with these three? Is that correct?
I don't want to give too much detailed information, okay? But let me put it this way. My dad was a fireman. Always said, where there's smoke, there's fire, okay? Folks, don't ask dumbass questions. And Andy, I apologize.
Oh man, I just love it. I love it. Folks, don't ask dumbass questions, okay? Sorry about that, Andy, but don't ask dumbass questions.
Really? Do I have to spell it out to you? What do you think they were doing? They're associated with a gang, and I've told some of y'all in interviews, gangs don't go to church on Sunday and then preach the gospel for the next 6 days. They're gangs because they commit crimes. How simple is this idea? Where are we losing it?
Oh man, let me spell it out for you. He's getting snarky. I'm glad you guys like him too. I really like this guy. I know one or two are annoyed by him. That's okay. Then check out part 1. We did a lot of deep diving and going over the facts. Now we're just going over the press conference. Thank you all for being here, by the way, on a Sunday. Really appreciate it. And if you're here twice, because we had a premiere just before this, thank you so much. And I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we continue with the Letitia Stout trial for another 7 weeks, you guys. We're going to need so much coffee.
And I know we're going long, but this is my press conference, not yours.
Sheriff,
Yes.
If all 6 were committing crimes, do you know why the 3 turned on the other 3?
I can't divulge that. I wish I could tell you. I'll tell you when we get this one. Okay. Listen, I want to tell you everything. I really do. And since day one, I've wanted to tell you anything. They have had a leash on me like you wouldn't believe. Next. Let's get somebody new.
Do we know the timeline of the 3 victims in terms of how they were shot? Was it all at once? And then? Hold back on that one.
Hold back.
Okay.
You heard the bosses.
Yes, sir.
Hold back on that one. He's like, ooh, okay, rein him in, rein him in. Love it. I mean, if we had a sheriff like this, I know I'm a foreigner, you guys. I'm South African living in the Netherlands, okay? So when I say we, I mean we. All of us at Grizzly community here, okay? But in the Kylie Rodney case, Debbie Collier's case, Ellen Greenberg's case, Gabby Petito's case, wouldn't that just be amazing? Daniel Robinson, huh? Man, we need more of this guy.
Do you know how they were apprehended? Were they hanging out somewhere? How were you able to catch up with them?
Do you want? Yeah. Go ahead.
The one subject on the previous photo, Rob Robinson, was in custody already at the juvenile detention facility. And the Christopher Atkins, the 12-year-old, we located him at his house yesterday after serving a search.
Damn, one was already in juvie. The other one they located at the house. Look at them. Christopher Atkins, Robert Robinson. My word. Rowena Rains, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thanks for sharing, G. Love your channel and appreciate your hard work. Man, I'm so glad to be here with you guys. You know, I shared this little update, this press conference on my community tab, but I couldn't help but come here and watch this with you guys. It's just so much better when we're doing this all together. So thank you for being here.
More.
So they weren't on the run or anything. Were they even surprised to even see you show up?
Yes, they were very surprised we showed up.
Are you able to make any statements as to what they said?
I'll leave that to the sheriff.
No, you'll get that eventually. We told you he was in DJJ. He was arrested by OPD the next morning after the murder.
What were the charges on that?
I believe it was a form of a fray at the school. An affray at the school. Oh, that's what I call a light bulb coming on right there.
And a fray at the school. Whoa, just saw that light bulb moment. Someone's eyes must have gone like, wait, what? And he's like, see that light bulb going off right there? Damn.
Remember I just talked about minimizing and holding students accountable? Our school districts, not just here, I'm not going to point out just mine, school districts across this state and across this nation need to quit minimizing the actions of their students. Hold them accountable. That's where the failure is.
Do we know where the last suspect was seen? The last place he was seen.
We're going to hold that one.
Did all 3 have guns, or was it just one gun? And which one pulled the trigger? Do we know that?
All right. Some of that I'm not going to answer.
Okay.
Some of it I will. The one I will is the 2 confessed to shooting our 3rd victim in the trunk.
How many guns were involved?
I'm not going to answer that one. I appreciate your question.
Let me just put this. Internet, you have a point. You have a point. We don't like that. Okay, humiliating people in the press conference is where he loses me. It's almost like a sense of humor a little bit there, huh? It's like the snarky tipping over to that side. I hear you.
Questions? You wouldn't be doing your job if you didn't ask. Any others?
Sheriff, is the 3rd suspect, does the public need to worry about him?
No, the community doesn't need to worry about them outside of, I want them to find them. That's what they need to worry about, is locating him for me. And they do. If you ain't ever watched my Wanted by Woods Wednesday, that's successful and they find them. I'll allow one more.
Are these juveniles all students at the same school?
No.
That was a no with a head shake. No, that was confusing body language, right? No. I think the 3 victims, though, were all from that Lake Weir High School, correct? If anyone's local and you know, let me know. But I believe the 3 victims were from the same school. The 3 suspects, probably not. One was in juvie, as we know, right? Candy's like, didn't he say the press help? And then he turns around and he's snarky to them. Yes. Yes, that. Okay, I quickly want to show you one more clip. Oh, which was, oh no, they're just showing the same thing. I thought they're going to show us more of a picture of them.
We're able to identify this.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Let's go over to Florida. That is where the investigation continues after
This one. Okay. So here are the 3 suspects. 2 are arrested. The 2 on the left have been arrested. And the one on the right is still on the run. Okay. He's 16 years old, considered armed and dangerous, and they are looking for him. Athena, thank you so much. Don't disagree that this guy's right, but this type often overstep boundaries. Okay. Thank you so much for your sticker. Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, share your thoughts, you guys. What do you say? Sarah says he's 16 and on the run. Someone's helping him. He will run out of helping people at some time. Right? Yeah, he must be staying like low profile somewhere, right? But the sheriff said he will find him. He will. Okay. And then, let me just quickly see. This one, let's stack it like this.
Witness heard the gunshots. So that's what allows us to narrow it and say this is an isolated incident and it's not some serial killer out there going around. But here's the biggest thing, and this is why I need information, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out, is the witness saw the vehicle immediately, rapidly leave the scene. So what that tells us is that the suspects were in the vehicle at that time. So that's why we need information. If anybody saw any, no matter how small, okay, if they saw it at a certain time, certain location, or if they saw a certain amount of people in there, or they even recognized the people in the vehicle. Because
Thank you, MJ. You say yes, they are from the same school. Okay, so that we've all heard before. I want to show you this one because now we know another one of the victims' names. If you missed it earlier. Okay, so firstly, we're looking at a case. Welcome to membership, Gem. We're looking at a case where 3 teenagers in Florida were shot and left in 3 different locations within a 10-mile radius. 2 16-year-old girls and 1 17-year-old boy. We did some map time on that earlier, so check that out. But initially, we only knew about this. They had only identified one of the victims as Layla Silvernail. She was found with a gunshot wound to the head next to a dumpster and taken to hospital. And then she died there. She was in critical condition on life support. And unfortunately, she did succumb to her injuries. Her family then donated her organs, which, I mean, it's a terrible situation. But I think that's something nice to do in that situation. Then the other 2 victims were not identified yet because the families had applied Marcy's law, where they can protect the victim's name. They have the right to do so. And now we know that there's a second victim's name that was released, which is Camilla Carls. So now they're showing us the 2 pictures here. So it's the first time we see a picture of the other victim as well. I'm muted, aren't I? The 17-year-old's sorry, I'll probably have to say that again. How long was I muted? Hold on. Okay. We are looking at the case out of Florida where 3 teenagers were shot. Layla Silvernail was the only one that was first identified. The other 2 victims were protected by Marcy's law based on their family applying that, where they don't have to release the name. Now we know that this other victim, one of the 3, so we've got Layla Silvernail on the left here, and then this is Camille Carls. So now we know her name as well. The 17-year-old boy's name, we do not know yet because his family's still applying Marcy's law. Okay, my mic was off for a second there. That was weird. So now you can see a picture there. I don't know if they'll ever release the name of the 17-year-old boy, but there's 3 suspects. In this case, 2 have been arrested. One's only 12 years old. 12. Oh, my word. So 2 have been arrested. 1 they're still looking for. Okay. So that is what we have there. I just wanted to show you that. So basically, I hope that was a good recap of the case. What I wanted to bring to you was the update, the name of the second victim, some more map time that we did look at as well, and then the snarky sheriff's press conference. Yes. So we've looked at all of that. I just want to make sure that that's everything. Yes. So here again, the two suspects on the left have been arrested. The one on the right, Taj Bruton, is still on the run. So if you live in Florida and you see this guy, he's considered armed and dangerous. Don't approach him. Call the police numbers. It's in the description box, all the numbers you can call. I'm pretty sure you can call 911 too, right? Call the police and make sure you let them know where he's at. Okay. So, Headstones and Headlines says, great live. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Adult crimes, adult time. I like that. Very nice. Yeah, we heard it all. Okay, great. My mic just had like the red light on for a second there. That was odd. Great stuff. Okay, so Dog says they thought they would snitch, so they killed them. Interesting. I wonder. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to Copper Horse for sharing the Patreon link. If you want to see some bloopers from some of the videos that I made in the last 10 days or so, yes, go and check that out on Patreon. And other than that, I will see you guys again tomorrow. The next planned live stream is the Letitia Starks trial, day 5. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 9 o'clock in Denver, Colorado, 8 o'clock Pacific time, and 5 o'clock EU, 3 p.m. GMT. Okay, so I'll see you there. This stream should lead you there, but otherwise just go to my channel and it should be there on the homepage. So I'll see you there for that. We're doing a morning session. There'll be a lunch break, then an afternoon session. I'm streaming the entire trial. Okay, I've never done that on my channel before. We're doing it together. We need to stick together in order to watch Letitia Stark's entire trial. My word. And there's a lot of information we're learning every single day. So thank you to all of you who have been part of day 1, the opening statements. Day 2 and 3, we did a recap. And then from day 4, we've been on it. So I'll be there with you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's no court on Thursdays. Also, if there's any other news or any things, I will share it with you. Maybe we have another live stream at some point in between. Keeping my eye on many cases, of course. And thank you to all of you for all the coffees that you've sent me. A lot of Grizzly send me coffees because you know I need coffee to make it through this trial. So thank you so much. Okay, Hunt says, Grizzly, where you located? I've seen your husband flying planes. In the Netherlands. I'm South African, living in the Netherlands. He's Swiss. And yes, Mr. Grizzly's got his own channel called Sakura Aviation. Yes, Sarah says, we love trial time. We love trial time together, right? It's very nice to watch the trial together and to see all your commentary and everything. So even if you can't make it the whole time, pop in when you can. Some of you are watching from work, you're naughty. Thank you for watching though, and chat with us there. It's always, it makes it a little bit easier to get through all the information just to be together. Okay. And yes, happy Easter to everyone who's celebrating Easter. And thank you everyone for being here. Stickers, all. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, mods. Really appreciate it. Alrighty, everyone. Bye.